Good. Good evening, everybody. Matt Geary here for Geek Pride's Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition campaign, The Legend of Our Sacrifice. With me tonight, we have Michael as Tharaval.
Good evening, everyone.
We have Wes as Valshal Nostius.
Evening, everyone.
We have Dave as Thomas Moonstar.
Evening all.
And we have Mark as Lance.
Hello there.
Right, gentlemen. Pete has decided he's not joining us tonight, so we're just going to finish off our gubbins in Dry Harbour after the false Hydra incident. So, quick update for those who haven't been watching, and if you haven't been watching, where have you been? Check it out on YouTube; it's all on there. So you made your way into the Hydra's lair. You've managed to defeat it, albeit it was a hard-won thing. You've then made your way into a sort of like side antechamber to the caverns,
Cave.
and found a they found a body. On that body, you found some letters, and then, as you know, with the false Hydra basically has been manipulating the way you feel and the way you remember things. Everything starts to sort of flood back, and with that, you've realised that the person who is dead before you was your long-term friend. What was her name? Dougfass.
Augury Dreyfus.
Yeah, Augury Dougfass. Yeah. And she's pretty much been there from the very start. You just haven't, because of the false Hydra, you just haven't remembered that. So she's been there through every single, from the very start of this campaign. She's been there, and you unfortunately have forgotten that. It's all started coming back to you. Then we had some letters that she had, and she had sort of had a necklace in her hand as well. And the letters we did on our Discord channel. So if you're watching now and you are not part of the Discord, then check it out, because you see some of the downtime stuff as well. But pretty much, there was two main letters. One was for Val. And it's basically her telling him how much she loves him, and that, even though she's sort of sitting there with him in near Dry Harbour, looking at him, that she feels like she might not see him again, and that she just wants to tell him that she loves him and that she's always loved him, and that basically she had this sort of like, she'd been dreaming things, and her dreams, because of her cultural sort of heritage, is that dreams and reality are sort of kind of one and the same sometimes, and she basically saw you crying and getting upset, and she wasn't there, and she basically feels that she's seen her own death effectively. There was a second letter, and it was to Tharaval. Tharaval has met her from pretty much the start. Him and Lance basically met up with her on their way to Balon. They've had a few sort of adventures on the way to Balon, because it took a while to get there. Tharaval has sort of fallen for her, and she in her own way fell for him as well, but she always had at the back of her mind that she was having these dreams about an angel, which obviously turned out to be Valashil.
Sorry.
and then Valashil sort of, after Salden's death, Valashil turns up, and she realizes that she can't fully give her heart to Tharaval, and that's the reason he's been a bit more distant, and he's been taking himself off with his brother a lot, and he's been going off on his own things a lot, because he's sort of trying to stay away from her, because obviously it's quite painful sort of sort of thing. She in the letter she said to him, she says, she does love him, and she gives you back. She says in closes, the necklace that your mother's necklace that you gave to me. This will be. You will find somebody who will deserve this more than I. And she basically says, she will spend the rest of her life trying to make up for the heartbreak that she's done to Tharavel. So you've got basically two of the party who are more intimately connected with her and have ended up, unfortunately, with her loss. Everybody within the party will be affected by her. She has been there from the very start, and she will have affected you all in her own sort of way. But that's that. So where we've left off is basically you're in the cave, you've just had these letters, you're both sort of you're all sort of a bit shocked at what's happened, all the memories that are started coming back to you, and that's pretty much where we're going from. So go. Don't all go at once now.
I think we were afraid that Tharavel might drown us out with that yawn of his. He's obviously terribly affected.
All right.
Tharavel's broody. And this is new because?
So yeah, so there, obviously you're not going to leave her there. You're not going to leave her in the cave. There will be there's people who'll be under, not knowing what's going on. Everybody's sort of started escaping the cavern. So you just need to let me know what you guys are doing, basically.
It seems inappropriate to leave her here.
Agreed.
If we could take her back to if there's a way we could get her back to the keep, that would be a more appropriate place for her to lie. But definitely not to leave her in the dark, despoiled like this.
Proper burial among friends is the least we can do for her.
But definitely not in this despoiled, dank hole in the ground.
Val, you mentioned sort of wanting to put her against the tree above Dry Arbor. Are you still wanting to do that, or are you agreeing that maybe she should go back to the fort?
Yeah, Val agrees with Lance. He turns and asks, "Do any of you have anything to cover her with?"
Tharavel removes his cloak of elvenkind and drapes it over her.
Are you going to take the necklace, by the way?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just assumed already taken it. Yep. But yeah, I'll take the necklace. Yeah.
Valashul turns to Tharavel and gives him a knowing look as he sets down to pick her up from one end, hoping that Tharavel will do the same.
Tharavel joins Lance or Val in helping pick her up.
Okay.
It's emotion. It is not a short journey back to the keep. Thomas, are you aware of some way that we may preserve her body, lest she be? Could we ask some of the people to help us?
We have to say
people in the cave have basically run off, so they're all sort of kind of making their way out. They've all basically come to and seen this sort of thing and all this sort of, and they've not want to stick around, so they've all sort of buggered off, basically.
Mm-hmm. So Thomas steps forward, places a hand on Ogri's forehead, and casts. Only once.
You touch the corpse and remains further duration. The target is protected from decay and can't become on. The spell effectively extends the time limit on raising the target from the dead.
It's just to keep her in one piece while we're travelling.
It would be undignified for her to arrive back home in a state of decay. Would you not agree?
No, I agree.
Okay. All right. So you've draped the cloak of Elvenkind over Tharvel. Sort of picked up the necklace that she was clasping in her hand, and you start to carry her out of the caverns. You make your way through the tunnels that you sort of you came to, and you get back to the lift that you went. There are people sort of looking quite shell-shocked and panicked, waiting for the lift to sort of kind of come down, and they sort of they slightly sort of cower at seeing you coming. They have no idea what's happened, basically.
Friends, fear us not. We came here to try and save you, and we have spared you from the foul predations of the beast, but not all of us were so lucky. If you could please let us through. We need to return our friend with us back home.
Roll me persuasion, and you can have advantage.
Might just need it.
Okay, so one of the quite a burly looking sort of guy says, comes over, he says, "I don't know who you are. You're not getting in front of us. We're not getting trapped down here, so you can take your fucking corpse and fuck off."
Smack him in the face hard with my fist. Strength check.
You just roll me the hit. Yep. You literally lay him out. He hasn't even finished saying what he's about to say as you swing your fist round and plant him on the ground as he falls down. The other people take a step back and sort of start and sort of kind of step aside from you.
I stop for a second, draw a breath, lower my head and look up and said, "I'm dreadfully sorry. We have had a difficult day, and I probably shouldn't have done that, but I dare say he will look all the more attractive when he wakes up and the bleeding stops. Thank you."
Okay, so the lift comes down, and you place her body on the lift's floor. There's plenty of room for other people, but they seem somewhat reticent to sort of get in the lift with you. Are you going to let them in, or are you going to sort of just sort of go up on your own?
I turn and motion to a couple of younger people, and invite them to join us.
Roll me persuasion. There you go. Okay, yeah. So slowly, some of them just sort of get on, and there's a few of them who obviously didn't like that guy, and they're on like a shot, and the lift fills up, and you make your way to the surface. As you sort of kind of actually, let's see, so you're basically where you come out basically where the yellow square is at the top there. So as you sort of kind of come up in the lift, you see fully that the city is a ruin. it's not what you sort of initially saw when you first came into Dry Harbor. There's also the added what looks like a layer of ash that has sort of kind of descended on the ground. It's beautiful in a strange sort of dark way. It's like it's snowing, but it's sort of black, slightly apt for the current mood of the party, to be fair. Whatever sort of necromancy Thomas did to the thing has basically turned it into ash, and the rest of its remains are now currently raining down in the form of ash, I guess, onto the city. The sun sort of kind of is out, and it gleams. You see sort of it's shining through whatever sort of patches of ash that it can get through. But it's a very tragic looking sight. People who have come out of the sort of the caverns, are sort of milling around the dig site entrance, and not overly sure what to do with themselves.
I sigh and look to the others to see what they want to do, and when they're obviously as disorientated as everyone, I step forward and bellow to get their attention, and to get the crowd's attention, and I call out, "This is very confusing, and I understand that you may be disorientated, but at this point in time, I would advise you to head into town to find your loved ones and to gather supplies from what's left of the town."
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, some of them sort of nod their head and start making their way into town. A lady comes up to you and says, "Excuse me, sir. What happened here?"
I can't tell you specifics. We've only been here a short period ourselves, and it was difficult. But your town appears to have fallen under the spell of a fell creature known as a false hydra, which muddled your minds and used you and fed upon you as well. And it, among others, took our comrade here. But with it being slain, I must apologise, but you will find that you have lost people that you will suddenly remember, and you will also find that the town is not what you recall. It will be difficult to adjust.
She sort of interrupts you and goes, Arthur! Arthur! And she starts running towards town.
I shake my head and sit leaning against a rock nearby.
Okay, so everybody else is pretty much making their way into town. It's quite some are running, some are walking. You've got people you've seen those old movies and stuff where there's it's a people are reacting to the whole thing differently. Some got a young man sort of sitting by a tree weeping. You've got other people just sort of looking at the sky. You've got some very young kids who don't understand what's going on, running around sort of playing because they're not really sure to them it's just sort of something weird's happening and it's sort of strange. It's quite an odd feeling for you all, especially with all the memories and stuff coming back. It's very bittersweet. You have defeated this creature, but at the loss to a very dear friend and to one of you as a lover. So,
Apparently 2 of us.
by the way, it's up to you, Tharaval. You haven't read the letters, and technically Val doesn't know about Tharaval and stuff. So
Cheating bitch. Wait,
well,
no.
she wasn't with.
Yeah, she cheated on me, you jackass. Home wrecker.
She didn't cheat on you. She just saw her dream man appear, and she unfortunately realized that she needed to be with.
Angel.
Yeah.
Sucks to be second place, dude. Sucks to be second place.
So, what do you want to do?
Stag.
You've got your sort of wagon there with which is
How
covered.
many can we gauge like how many people are actually like alive? Like, what's the population of the town looking like?
We'd have to go into town to find out.
Yeah, you've probably got about, you've probably got about, anywhere between 30 and 40 people sort of streaming down into town. You're not sure how many people are left in the town without sort of kind of surveying it.
Okay.
What?
Thomas,
Do we
sorry.
have our cannon?
Yeah, so
Well,
you've got the wagon.
Yeah, it's on a wagon.
Oh,
got
okay,
on the
yeah,
wagon.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Currently, there's no you've got nothing to pull the wagon, and it's on
I
there.
can sort that.
Yeah.
So Thomas looks to Valishul and Tharaval and says, "Make Augury comfortable on the wagon. I'm going to head into town and see if I can find Edrildor. I need to know if he survived."
Turn to the 2 of them and say, I think you two need to be alone for a little while to have a chat. I will accompany Thomas. I think you two need to have a discussion and to settle matters.
Yeah, I say I would.
Fight.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Lance would know because Lance was there, kind of when. Whereas Thomas is going to be oblivious to it. I think he's more interested in his books and his.
That's it. There were people. They were doing things. I was nearby.
Yeah.
Stuff happened. People were there. It all blends together after a while, right?
Okay. Are you so Thomas and Lance are making their way into town. Tharaval and Val, what are you guys doing then?
Sorting the body onto the wagon, and I guess gonna have a chat.
Well,
or not. Both of us will just sit silently and sadness.
Val doesn't know, basically, so it's up to Tharaval if he wants to say anything.
Tharaval,
Bro code.
he's basically remaining quiet. He's still being he's being distant. Not to Valishul specifically, but he's just having to deal with a lot of emotion at the minute because everything's sort of rushed back. He's obviously, sort of realizes that he's lost Augury, who he loved, as well as that she didn't love him. And he is still in the presence of, it's a sort of awkward presence, but it's not a, he's no animosity towards Val. It's not of his doing or anything like that. It's out of either their control. But until he can sort of learn to handle his emotions and things like that, he's just sort of going to sort of remain quiet. So Tharaval sort of looks off to see if he can find any horses that may be sort of straying about to possibly pull the wagon.
Okay, do you want to give me a nature check?
Nature. Oh, nature is not my best. Nature is not best.
Yeah, you can't. You start looking around some of the farms and stuff. You're not seeing anything at this moment in time. Okay. Val, what are you up to?
Honestly, I don't know. Just being, maybe saying some prayers. I don't know. Just looking over the body, I guess.
Okay. I had something. Oh, by the way, her sword. Who has her sword?
I think Valishal does. So we found it in the basement when it was me and him exploring.
Ah, yes. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, yeah. So you've still got her sword, Val.
No, didn't we stash it away?
Did we?
I can't remember.
Is it in your notes?
Is
It's not in my notes. No.
people's armor not stashed away somewhere as well?
Oh, so technically you guys didn't have your AC that you had because your armor. Technically, you were running around in your underwear.
Well, it's lucky we all forgot about that.
Yeah.
I don't have any AC anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, I forgot about that as well. So yeah, so you go and get your we'll say you've got your armor. It doesn't matter. You've done that and stuff. Okay, so you've got the sword still, which is going to be, I think. Oh, in fact, I've just got a card. So it's called Flame Tongue. You can use bonus action to speak the magic words, command words, causing flames to erupt from the blade. These flames shed bright light in a 40-foot radius and dim light an additional 40 feet. While the sword is ablaze, it deals an extra 2d6 fire damage to any target it hits. The flames last until you use a bonus action to speak the command word again, or until you drop the sheath the sword. So that is currently Flame Tongue.
Okay. Right.
Whoever's got that, that's what you're going to add. Up to you.
Can I give it? I guess I'll give it to someone at some point. I was gonna actually bury it with her, but
No, you can do if you want to. It's up to you. You can how you want to do it and stuff. So yeah,
Okay.
keep it with her if you want. All right. So Thomas and Lunch, you sort of make your way into town. The ash is starting to sort of kind of cover the ground, and you can see people running into houses. You can hear screams. You can hear crying. You can sort of hear the sounds of people coming to terms with reality.
Okay, so trying to blend in with the crowd as much as possible. Bearing in mind one of us is basically a tree. We head towards the jail, which is the last place where I saw Edrildor rocking backwards and forwards and whimpering a bit.
I was just pointing something out.
Was that? It wasn't.
Tree.
That wasn't. You saw. He wasn't in the jail, was he? He was in.
Yeah, he was in the jail.
No, he was in. Was he in the jail, or was he? Was he not in the apothecary's place?
he was in the apothecary jail. Type
Was he?
thing.
Yeah,
And then he
at
got,
the back. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
he got. Whenever you guys got caught to go to jail, he disappeared.
Yeah. Right. Okay. In that case, we'll head for his shop then.
Okay. So you make your way back to his establishment. The door is broken. There's no. That's why it was always open, because it wasn't there effectively. You go in and there's broken glass, broken vials. There's a hole in the roof. The ash is sort of kind of coming in, dripping in, and there's no sign of him in this place.
Friend Thomas, might I suggest we look to see if there are any signs of that might indicate the truth of his identity, let alone his existence, as we can't really trust our recollections entirely while things are still clearing.
It's a good suggestion, my friend. I'll look around the shop and see if anything looks like it's been recently disturbed.
Give me an investigation roll.
With advantage, because I'm helping.
Yeah. As far as you're aware, bearing in mind the last time you were in there, you saw you saw kind of what it was, but it's now covered in a layer of ash, and you found the purse and the note that you made, the money. It's still there. There doesn't seem to be anything else in that place. Nothing of any sort of note. It doesn't look like anybody's been there.
Okay. Somewhere else I was going to look for him, and I can't remember where it was now. I think I'll grab the purse and the note, just in case we do ever catch up with him.
Okay, so you pick up the note and the money, and you take yourself out of his shop. There are a couple of people wandering around, all in a bit of a daze, picking up broken pieces of their life, and just unsure.
Are there any other merchants around in or around their shops?
There are people, but you're not sure if they're merchants or not. They're in that area.
Okay, I will approach one and just ask, have you seen Edrildor? Do you know Edrildor?
A bearded man sort of looks at you with eyes, sort of raw red eyes, like he's been crying. Made all the more sort of tragic by the sort of kind of soot that is covering his face. He slowly sort of kind of nods his head, he sort of kind of nods his head and sort of kind of looks at the ground and picks up some other bits and pieces that that are in and around where you're guessing his shop was.
Okay, I will crouch down and help him to gather up the things that he's picking up, and ask again, when did you last see him? Please, sir, it is important.
Roll me persuasion.
Oh, crap. I don't do well with these.
He just shrugs his shoulders and just sort of walks off.
Enough. I'll hand him the things that I've picked up for him and look around. I guess we'll head in the general direction of where the stables might be, but keeping my eyes open to look to see if I see Edrildor anywhere on the way.
Okay. You sort of make your way to the stables. There's no horses there. Everything is it's a ruin, and with the ash and everything, there's nothing of any major note in the area, in the vicinity.
Okay. I look to Lance and say, don't suppose you've got any ideas?
I would dare to suggest that maybe we look at moving towards.
Your audio's pretty low there, Mark. By the way,
Yeah.
you away from your microphone.
Get my microphone bent down. How's that?
That's much better.
Yeah, I would dare to say that we should think about going where there would likely to be food, and see, because the people are going to cluster there. First off, when they realise that what they thought they had, they don't have, and the next thing they're going to be thinking about is how to get away and get somewhere else, aren't they?
Okay.
Guess our next step is the inn then.
Yeah.
Tharval and Tharval. So you still looking for horses?
Yeah. Would it actually be survival that?
Yeah. Sorry, survival. Yeah. Sorry.
Find some horses, or don't.
Critical fail. Okay.
You find some tracks leading that way.
Yeah, you find some tracks that seem to be leading you off. You find some tracks that sort of seem to be leading you off towards where you all had the camp. You camped in the first night.
Okay. Follow the tracks, I suppose.
Val, what are you up to?
Gonna continue to sit with the cart.
Are you praying to Bahamut?
Sure, why not?
Okay,
I'll do some prayer.
Yeah, roll me religion.
Will do. When my character sheet loads up.
Okay. You kneel down and you start praying to your god. You feel a presence within moments of the prayer starting, and you see the old man standing beside the cart, looking at Augury, and he looks down on you, and you can see pity, sorrow, in the old man's face, and he apologizes to you. He said, "My boy, if I had the power to have stopped this, I would. No man should have to deal with this situation. This is why this evil needs to be taken from this land. Things like this. Unnecessary death."
Here I was thinking you put this in my path to make me stronger. It's
What?
reassuring to know that your plan doesn't involve my constant sorrow.
My boy, I test you. I tested Zoldan. I've tested all who choose to listen, but I would never do this. I am not a vengeful god. I do things to make people stronger, but killing their loved ones, not one of those things. This darkness has infested this land and eats it from the inside. You have taken out a single root from this land, which helps, but unfortunately, more has to be done, or there will be more loved ones who will end their lives.
We're doing all we can already. I don't know how to do more than what we're already trying to do.
He sort of nods his head and says, "You need to leave this place. There is nothing here for you. You have found this weapon which may help in taking out the darkness of Kibarath. That is the biggest concern at this moment in time. If Balon falls, then all of Freya falls.
We won't let Balon fall, and we'll leave as soon as the others are done.
He looks at you and says, know that she loves you, my boy, and she will be with me until you join her. I will look after her.
Valashul bows his head and begrudgingly accepts what Bahamut said to him, despite wanting to say a few choice words. Yeah, that's it.
Wouldn't recommend it from experience. It tends to
Yeah.
hurt. That's terrible.
He what's he gonna do? He how many inspiration? How many honor points do you have at the minute?
I have 20 at the moment.
What's the what are your?
I think it's 25 for another beneficial property.
Where are you?
At the moment, I have +1 to strength and one spell that is thunderous smite.
A smell.
Thunderous smell.
Because I think it's because you chose a random one. Earthing woman, find your. Character sheet. Okay, yeah, so you've got the random minor beneficial property, you've got that. You've got the temporary stat increase each dawn. You've got the spirit, you've got the random minor beneficial, which was the spell. Alright, so yeah, 25 of it. So yeah, okay, gain one more random minor beneficial property, or can choose one. Yeah, okay, right, yeah. So you gain 5. Before he leaves you, he touches you on the head. And you feel sort of more invigorated, more sort of energy passes through to you, and you gain 5 more honor points. You can either spend them now and gain one more random beneficial property, or you can wait until 50 where you can choose it yourself.
I'm gonna wait. Actually, no, I'll spend it. What do I roll?
Okay. Let's see. Let me see. Okay. Where do we? I think we did this last time. All right, here we go. So a minor beneficial property. So roll me a D100.
Okay.
Uh, 53. You gain a cantrip. Gain a cantrip.
Okay.
And your cantrip is going to be. Where are they? Cantrips. Okay. Roll me a.
What's up, cat?
Roll me a D100 and 74. You gain Sacred Flame.
Okay.
A cantrip of Sacred Flame. Flame-like radiance descends on a creature that you can see within range. The target must succeed a dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 radiant damage. The target gains the target gains no benefit from cover for saving throws. At
Okay,
higher
that's pretty cool.
levels, spell damage increases by 1d8 when you reach 5th level, 11th level. It's a cantrip though, so I'm not sure if it goes up.
Yeah, they do. They go up at 5th, 7th, 11th.
And 17th.
Well, we're at 11, so it'll do 3d8.
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 Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Alright, wicked.
Make
Fitting.
sure, yeah, so make sure you add that to your list.
I'm doing that now.
Okay, Tharval, you make your way to the hill where you camped. The tracks have completely gone, and you know that you've made a mistake. You stand there where the fire was the night that you actually you won't have known because you weren't there, were you?
Yep.
You stand there and you notice there was a fire there. Obviously it's extinguished. You also sort of roll me perception.
Perception. Oh, where'd it go?
Back in a sec.
You notice underneath sort of a layer of ash a piece of like a scarf, and you know that this was Augre's.
Tharaval lifts the scarf, and he sort of folds it up and presses it to his face and takes a deep breath in through his nose, to get one last smell of his lost love. and then he.
As you sort of inhale the perfumed scarf, you feel you see after you inhale the sort of the perfume scarf, you sense somebody standing near you.
Tharaval reacts by drawing his sword and pointing it in the direction of where he thinks the person's coming.
Yep. You are pretty sure you ooh, how do I do this actually? I was going to do one thing, but then I was thinking I could do that instead. You see Augury standing, looking over the city.
Tharaval lowers his sword, and he rubs his eyes, and sort of slaps himself in the face a bit to. He thinks he feels tired, and the reason why he can't track horses is the emotions are sort of getting the better of him, and he doesn't believe what is in front of him.
She do this. Or cause too much discord. Well, I think.
Tharaval. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go. You go ahead.
Tharaval, after he sort of rubs his eyes, and he still sees her standing there, and he says to her, "He's like, I know you're not real. I know you're dead. So, what am I seeing?"
She points to the necklace. She points to your mother's necklace, and she points to your mother's necklace, smiles, and then disappears.
Okay. Tharaval takes the necklace in his hand, and looks at it, I suppose. Studies it.
It's a necklace you know well. Your mother used to tell you stories about how in the old days the gemstones that were within it used to sort of carry the they would carry the souls of loved ones. So they would basically soul shards, effectively a soul shard, effectively. But you never really made much thought about it. You thought it was just a sort of tale. You didn't sort of believe her. but obviously, you thinking back of this now, you think maybe there's something to do with this necklace is why you've seen her.
Okay, so Tharval, he grips the shard very, very tightly in his hand, and he closes his eyes. And he just thinks and wishes that he can still, even if he can't express his love or anything like that, just for her friendship alone, he wishes to see Aubrey again. He doesn't want her to be gone.
Roll me religion.
Ooh. Religion's gonna suck. I'm not very religious.
I wonder why.
Yeah. You sort of think hard and nothing happens.
He lets out a sigh, but unloosens his grip on the necklace. But with a little bit of hope, he unbuttons his shirt a bit, drapes the necklace around his neck, so it hangs next to his heart, in the hope that the tales that he told his mother are true of some sort, and then just buttons up his shirt again.
Okay. Make a note. Change that to okay. Okay. All right. I mean, you carrying on. Look, you heading back to where you came.
Yeah, he's gonna start heading back, but again, he's still sort of keeping an eye out for, a way to.
Okay, roll me survival again then.
Survival. Come on, we need better rolls. Not had any good ones tonight. Use them up all. There we go.
You sort of notice off in the distance a couple of what you believe are horses, and you sort of start making your way off to wrangle them up. Thomas and Lance.
Okay, so we're heading for the inn or the tavern to see if we can find Edrildor, or see if there's any help that we can give while we're there.
Yeah. You make your way to the inn, and you find the innkeeper there sitting in front of a broken sign of the Griffin's Head, with his head in his hands.
Is there anyone else around?
There are people sort of basically running in and taking what they can and running out again.
Okay. What the sign that he's got that's broken? How badly broken is it?
It's the sign that used to hang above the inn. and it's just sort of it's broken in half. He's just sort of fallen down, and he's just sort of sat beside it.
Okay, so I'll walk up, sit beside him. I will use a cantrip to fix the sign and say this isn't much, but it's a start to help rebuild what you've lost.
He gives you a sort of weak smile and nods his head. He says she named this place. I don't know what I can do. I don't know what I can do without her. She was the strength. She was the one who organized everything. I don't know if I can do this without her.
You'll find you don't know what you're capable of until you try. Believe me, I know it feels bad now, but things will get better in time.
Roll me persuasion.
Oh, here we go. I'm going to insult him now, aren't I? Oh, yes, I am.
he just sort of he just nods his head and doesn't sort of say anything. He's your words he understands. You're meaning well, but they're not overly helpful to him at this moment in time.
Okay. I will put a hand on his shoulder and sort of convey a well-wishing feeling towards him. I don't think we're going to get much out of him in terms of intel or anything, so kind of nod to Lance and stand up and sort of shrug and nod back the way we came, back out of town towards the wagon.
I look back at the gentleman and shake my head, but don't quite know what to say. So I follow Thomas as we walk away.
Okay. So you make your way out of town. As you do so, you can see Tharval leading two horses towards the cart, looking somewhat sort of, in a bit of a daze. Val is sort of still sort of in a meditative sort of state, and then sort of wakes up when you appear.
So I will look to Tharavel and Valishal and say, we had no luck. The town is in a complete disarray. Half of them are in mourning. The other half don't know what's going on. We looked to find horses. We had no luck, but it would appear that our ranger had better luck out in the wilds. Suggest we hitch these horses up and head north.
Tharavel just sort of grunts and nods, again, still being quite quiet. Very within himself, withdrawn.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that could work. I've just had an idea. All right. Okay. Doesn't matter. Are you just going to leave the people in the town sort of to do their own devices? Are you leaving now, or?
I think we've done as much as we're willing to at this point in time.
Yeah, they're not very receptive to us anyway, so.
Okay. So you hitch the horses.
If Bracken was here, I'm sure he would hit every single one of them. I just can't be asked.
Yeah. You hitch the horses to the cart, and you start making your way back to the east, to Pure Harbour, to get a boat back to Camerford. As you sort of look back at the devastation that is wrought before you, it reaffirms that this is what could happen to all of Freya if this darkness is not defeated, and it's not something you want to see occur in Balon, especially. Okay, so we'll say you make your way back to Dry Harbour. Did you look for loot, by the way? Did you?
I'd asked
yeah.
about it, and you said you were going to put stuff in the Discord,
Yeah, let me just. I'll
Stop pushing buttons.
Yeah. Okay, Bertha.
We
1 minute.
definitely looted.
You find within the within the caves and things like, you find 17,000 gold pieces and
what the hell?
and 1,400 platinum pieces,
Oh,
which is fine because you got some bills to pay anyway. So
Well, yeah.
How many
No money, no
platinum
problem.
was that?
1,400. You also find a solid gold lockpick that whispers "jackpot" when it opens the lock.
sounds like something from Borderlands.
So great for stealthily
Yeah,
letting
like, I was
yourself
just
in
thinking.
somewhere.
Yeah. So basically,
Get through the door, jackpot.
I'll say, right. I'll say it will give you advantage on. I'll add a little bit to it just to make it more interesting. It will give you advantage on lockpicking, but it will shout jackpot. It'll shout jackpot really loudly when it opens up the thing. You don't know this currently. It's just a lockpick, but as soon as it
Talkie
opens,
toaster of the lockpick world.
so as soon as it opens anything, it'll go jackpot like really loudly.
Why are you lockpicking with three cloaks wrapped around the lockpick? No reason.
Who's getting the lockpick?
I suppose me, as I am
That was a
proficient
really
with
hard
with
question.
thieves' tools.
Okay.
That's a good point. I don't think I've actually got a set of thieves' tools yet.
Okay. Well, you've got a lockpick now.
Joy.
Um,
A step in the
start
right
somewhere.
direction.
okay. Right. So you make your way back with the items you've got. Dare I ask? Are obviously this gold and stuff
We have a
is.
cart.
I understand that. I was just saying that
We need to give it back to the
There's,
people.
there's,
really.
there's a town that needs rebuilding.
Yeah.
there's a town. Now, it's completely up to you. Obviously you know that a lot of this gold and stuff will have come from the town itself. So It's up to you if you want to leave with it. You can justify that in whatever way you want, or if you want to give any of it back to the town.
Leave the gold, take the platinum.
Yeah, I think that's an acceptable compromise.
Okay. So you take 1,400 platinum pieces. How are you going to get the gold distributed? Bearing in mind that some of the people aren't exactly law-abiding at this moment in time.
Is it bad? My instinctive reaction is for me to yeet it up in the air, and Thomas to blow the bags up, so that it just scatters everywhere.
And just shout, "Scrambles!"
Jackpot!
Take the cart into the center of the town, and basically get people to step up one at a time and give them.
Okay.
Give them a certain amount.
Okay, so you take yourself into the center of town with the gold. There are some people milling around as you start giving out gold to people. More people start coming up to the cart to the point where it gets quite busy. I'm
going to roll for intimidation.
Okay. Yeah.
To get them to back up a bit.
Okay. How are you intimidating them?
So I step up onto the cart and I snarl. Everybody wait their turn. Otherwise, you either lose the gold or you lose a hand.
Everybody sort of kind of backs off, and they start to sort of come in one at a time as you distribute the gold to them. One of the people, one of the roll me perception.
Me?
Anybody.
With advantage?
Yep. You in the crowd, you notice a familiar face. He's got blood, sort of kind of dried blood caked in sort of ash coming from his nose and his ears. He looks like an absolute bum, but you're pretty confident that is Eldrador. Eldrador. He's not in the queue for the money. He's just sort of wandering around aimlessly in the town square.
Have I seen him too?
Yeah.
Okay, so Thomas jumps down from the cart and heads over to him, calling his name.
He doesn't. He ignores you.
Of course, he's deaf at the moment, isn't he? He's buggered his hearing up. So I'll walk over to him and just tap his shoulder to get his attention.
He sort of looks at you wildly, and sort of shakes his head, and just sort of kind of starts wandering aimlessly around again.
So I'll sort of grab his arm and sort of tug gently and indicate towards the cart and suggest to him that I would like him to follow me.
Roll persuasion, disadvantage because he's deaf, basically.
Like I need disadvantage on persuasion.
Oh, not bad. He sort of cautiously sort of starts to go towards the cart with you.
Cool. Okay, I'll help him up onto the cart and sit with him whilst the gold is distributed.
Okay. Gold is distributed to everybody. You've got, once you've sort of given all it out, you've got 5,000 gold pieces left, as well as the platinum too. Once you've equally you've shared it out with everybody who's turned up. Okay, so you got there's 5,000 gold and 1,400 platinum. You also have a lockpick that shouts jackpot once it opens a lock. I'm assuming are you going to say anything to these people before you leave, or are you going to just go?
I look to the others as they
Is
start
Val here,
to
by the
clear
way?
up.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I hadn't heard from you for a bit.
I've been sneezing, so I just muted myself.
Oh, okay.
But I look to the others who are clearing up, and Thomas is obviously distracted. And look to all the others look to all the people puzzled, just milling around, and just shake my head for a second before standing tall and shouting, people, I understand this is a dark day and it is very confusing and terrifying. You've all lost people. We've lost people as well. We have to leave. We have to be elsewhere. You still have an opportunity to build here, to rebuild, and to have what you thought you had, but it won't be easy. Trust yourselves. You're still good people, but you will need to deal with the memories of what happened and the things that were hidden from you. But find strength in each other, because no one else will understand as you do.
A little girl walks over to you with a what looks like a sort of like a teddy bear, and she hands it to you, and her mother sort of kind of tries to stop her, but she says, thank you, thank you for everything. She sort of hands you the little bear.
I take it from her gently and smile and say, no, thank you. And I wish you and your family the best of luck in the days to come. And maybe one day, if I pass by this way, I can return this to you.
She says, he's what's he gonna be called? He's called he's called Mr. Tummy, because he's always hungry, and he likes honey, and he'll protect you. He'll protect you when you sleep. He's always protected me, and he'll protect you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the protection as we go forth, and I hope that you won't be afraid without him.
The mother sort of comes over and smiles, and then sort of bends down, picks up her daughter, who waves at you, and sort of they take themselves off.
Whilst they're leaving, Thomas motions to Lance to put the teddy bear on the back of the wagon.
I put the teddy bear on the back of the wagon,
and then make it huge.
What?
What I do though is I motion for them to wait, and I run after the mother and the child and the son.
Yeah.
And from my pack, I pull some rations that I carry in case the others need them. I give them 5, so that they have something to keep them fed in the days to come.
Yeah, the mother thanks you, and sort of wipes a tear from her eye. The little girl sort of reaches over towards you as you're sort of talking to your mother, and puts her arm around you and gives you a hug.
I smile and say thank you, and then wish them the best and turn to leave.
Okay. She shouts after you and she says, "He will protect you, you know. He's a good fighter."
Thank you. We will appreciate the new member to replace our fallen friend.
Okay. Are you actually making the bear big, by the way?
Yeah.
You stick the bear on the cart, and you sort of do something, and it makes it big. As you do so, there's shock. People sort of scatter around because obviously there's suddenly this sort of massive teddy bear on a thing. The kids who are kind of in and around start laughing, and start sort of kind of running around the wagon and sort of pointing at it and stuff as parents try to sort of corral them.
My work here is done.
All we've got to do now is stop the kids following us.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they'll get bored after a while.
Yeah. So you start making your way back through town. You pass the Griffin's Head, and the landlord's still sort of sitting there beside his newly fixed sign, looking sort of very upset still, as you start moving towards the outskirts of town.
Okay, as we're rolling past, I'll call out to him.
He sort of looks up at you as you call out to him,
and I'll drop the purse of gold that I'd left in Edrildor's store. Sort of throw it to his.
He looks at it and then sort of mouths sort of thank you as you go past.
I'll nod and smile.
Okay, so we will make our way back to Pure Harbor then. So you know, nothing of any major note happens on your way back to the town. Not Pure. Did I have them up? Right. Oops. Alright. I haven't got one for Pure Harbor, but just stick that on. So you make your way back to Pure Harbor. Life, it seems to be going on as sort of as normal. It's a bustling merchant city, completely unaware of the destruction that has happened in the west of their land.
Can I just check, has the teddy returned to normal size?
Yeah, it will have by now. It's only a concentration spell, so I'll have dropped it once it was out of sight.
Well, otherwise he wouldn't fit in my pack very well, would he?
Not with that attitude, he would.
And yes, I have put Mr. Tummy and Teddy on my equipment list.
Good.
Excellent.
You're kind of like Cable.
Okay, so is there anything you want to do in Pure Harbor while you're there before you sort of make your journey across to
Hire more sailors.
Can I suggest that we find somewhere to stop and to rest and to wash
Great.
and to recover a little bit from everything before we take our voyage? Yes, I know we want to get back home and we want to return the body of our comrade, but we need to stop and to take care of ourselves so that we're in a fit state to move forward.
Okay, so you find an inn which has sort of a place for the horses and stabling for the horses. You mentioned that there's items within the cart that needs to be looked after. They say they want a couple of gold for a guard to sort of kind of look after over the night, and they offer you each a room each. You can have a room each or a couple of rooms between you for a gold.
If we grab a couple of rooms between us, I don't need the sleep as such, so I can look out for things. But I think we just need to bathe, eat, and rest. Well, you guys do anyway.
Okay, so you take yourself into the inn. You get led to your rooms, where you do you want separate rooms? How do you want the sort of assume a Tharavel wants a separate room, or
Yep. Well, Tharavel doesn't sleep really, so but yeah, he'll.
Okay. You take yourselves off to your rooms. You get somebody comes up with sort of water. They've got these massive sort of kind of like tin baths that sort of you can clean yourself in. They leave the water in the baths for you to clean up, and they say that once you're ready, you can come down to the bar area, and the food will be ready for you.
I signal to the others to get on with things while I stand on the landing and keep an eye on things.
Okay. While you're sort of bathing or getting yourselves ready, is sort of doing anything in your rooms, or are you just sort of sleeping?
Just bath and bed, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Tharavel, making sure he's well out of the way of everybody else, he's going to roll his fate dice for his ring of fate.
Okay.
So I need a d6. Where the hell's the thing gone? D6. Ooh, nothing happens.
Okay. So what was it for the D6? Is it one and one?
One, it explodes and everybody's at disadvantage. 2 to 3. Oh, hold on, where is it? One ring implodes the strands of fate escape, and you and any within 15 feet are disadvantaged for 7 days. 2, nothing happens. 3 to 5, the ring recharges as normal. 6, fate smiles upon you. The ring recharges for 6 uses on everyone. So, how often can I? It says you can re-roll. You can't re-roll a re-roll, and you can be recharged every 7 days by doing one of the following. So I can't do that again for another 7 days.
No. So basically, you can recharge it by getting rid of. There's So
it's sacrificing half your spell slots, minimum of 3. So if I was to get rid of 3 spell slots, that would
Yeah.
bring it back up to 3, and then if I have a long rest, does that bring my spell slots
Yes.
back again?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
right. Well,
But
I'll
basically,
do that then.
the dice rolls just for an emergency. So basically, it's there if shit's happening and you need them back. You got to roll the dice, and then you've got that option. But
Yep.
you can sort of do those things to sort of get your spell slots back.
Okay,
that
so
sort of
you'll.
thing is why we make you sleep in the stables while we have rooms, as long as they're more than 15 feet away.
But then again, if you get a 6, you get Fate smiles upon you. The ring recharges for 6 uses, and everyone within 15 feet is an advantage for 7 days.
True, but still scary.
Yeah, that's not something I would like to risk.
It's
The first time I've actually rolled for it, I think it'd be fucking typical if I get this.
Yeah, see, you can use those things to get it, but obviously in emergencies you can, if you need to, you can risk it. And
So I obviously take Sentry's Rest out where I can keep an eye on things while they're getting themselves cleaned up and rested. And once they're all cleaned up, before they rest, I ask them to keep an eye on things, and I go inside and disrobe like my cloak and stuff, and I just scrub myself down in the water just so that I am a little less sooty and smelling of blood and such like.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody sort of cleans themselves off, and are you getting some food before you go back to sleep, or are you sort of just going straight to bed?
Food
Well, I'm
sounds
not,
good.
but the other guys
Yep.
might want to.
Yeah, so you clean yourselves up and you take yourselves downstairs to the sort of area where they serve the food. It's very busy.
I'm going to go out to the stables and check on the car. I don't want to be around that many people at the moment.
Yeah, so you go outside. Downstairs it's very busy. Everybody sort of going on about their lives. Again, none the wiser to what's happened in the West. Just sort of drinking, being happy. There's a bar fight. Nothing sort of abnormal. It's just another day, another evening for them. Lance, you take yourself off into the stables, and there's a guard who's sort of half asleep, standing beside it, who sort of straightens up slightly when he sees you sort of enter into the stable.
I look him up and down to check him out, and I growl slightly at him and say, "For what we paid, I really don't think I should be having to come out here and do your job."
He looks pretty ashamed and says, "I'm sorry, late night, too much grog. It won't happen again, sir. I promise."
I will come out and check occasionally, and you don't want me to be waking you up.
Okay. He looks suitably cowed by your by your words, and stands to sort of attention.
I shake my head and go and sit out in the courtyard for a little while, or whatever you want to call it, just to get some air.
Okay, so food served to you. It's up to you if you sort of kind of just want to eat and leave, or you want to discuss anything, or you want to ask any questions to people or do anything. It's up to you. Otherwise, it's
So
just...
who's at the table eating? I assume everyone's here, or
Yeah, well, I am. Yeah.
Everyone but me.
okay.
I'm outside, taking some time to myself and intimidating people.
Valashul looks to those present and asks, "What's the plan when we return to Balon?"
I suppose first things first, we find Draken and Calandra, explain that we found the corpse of our comrade, and we arrange for the burial.
At the mention of the burial, Tharavel feels sort of uneasy. It takes another large swig of his drink, and sort of slams the mug down on the table, to sort of show a bit of unease. He's still not settled with this yet.
Val, roll me insight.
Okay. Yay, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
I don't want this confrontation.
Yeah, you just sort of,
You just don't get me, bro.
You just obviously in your mind, because you don't know what's happened or what's going on.
Seems a bit off. What's up with him?
You just you just like his friend's dead, and it's that's it. He's just sort of, so you understand his anger.
Okay. I don't know what else to do. I'm just gonna eat my food and sulk. Well,
Okay.
not sulk. Just be quiet.
Okay. Anything else before you sort of finish your night?
I don't think so.
No.
Tharavel sort of quietly raises his glass and just mumbles to Augury.
Thomas raises a glass and joins in.
As you do that, a drunken sailor sort of walks over, knocking the table slightly, and says, who are we drinking to, friends? I could join in. And he starts basically making a pest of himself.
In anger, Tharavel kicks the drunk's legs out from under him.
Oh.
Oh dear. I was going to invite him to sit down.
Roll me a hit. Roll me and see if you hit him or not.
Yeah, Dex, I suppose.
Dex, I suppose. Yeah, he attacks with Dex.
Yeah, so you sort of kind of kick out, and the sailor sort of kind of bolts down and sort of hits the table, knocking all the sort of kind of drinks all over the place. As that happens, he sort of, his mate sort of comes over and goes, "Oi, I saw that," and takes a swing at Tharavel.
Okay, let's see.
Eeny, meeny, miny, bugger.
Bro.
Yeah, wait a minute. I've got
Okay.
something. I got something here that we can play. Get your.
Can I take a reaction to try and dodge his?
Can? Yeah.
So what I wrote with dexterity again.
Yes. Yep. You sort of kind of dodge out of the way of his fist as it sort of kind of swings past your head.
Tharavel sort of fiendishly sniggers at the friend's attempts, but in doing so, he reaches for the drunken sailor on the ground and, sorry there, friend. You appear to have tripped over my foot. Much apologies. and lifts him, grabs him to lift him to his feet.
Oh, okay. Roll me deception. He's slightly unsure if he believes because he's drunk. He's like, well, I tripped, and his mate sort of who sort of kind of swung a mist. What did you do with him? Sorry.
The one who swung at me?
Yeah, the one who swung at you.
I just dodged out of his way and then just basically ducked under his punch and then reached down to help the other guy up.
Okay, yeah. All right. So you come up and he sort of he's a bit unsure, but he sort of he apologizes and he says, I've had a very and he doesn't really know what he's kind of saying. He's very drunk. Yeah,
Larval hands his ale over to him and says, have another.
You are great. Thank you. And sort of, give me your keys. You're drunk. And sort of kind of takes the beer, sort of necks it, and then sort of keels over backwards and just collapses on the floor.
Tarval turns to the guy that swung at him and says, your friend appears to have fallen over again.
The guy who sort of he took a swing at you goes for another swing at you.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay, so can I react this again?
You can try and react, yeah. He this is any. So he swings at you, obviously slightly inebriated too, and misses again.
Sarval kicks him in the nuts.
Okay.
Can Valashul stand and try to break it off?
Break his nuts off?
Yeah.
Gives him a good tug. No, break it up. Break it. I want to break it up.
Okay.
Right.
Roll me initiatives first to see who gets if he gets the kick in before you sort of stop.
Probably is. Oh, he's probably still going to get it. Oh, yeah. I didn't click my toe. Oh,
it doesn't matter. It's just so I can see.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Oh, terrible. It's Wes.
Oh dear.
There you go. So,
yeah.
So Val sort of can see that Tharavol's about to do something, and sort of kind of stands up and sort of pushes himself in front of both of them.
And he says, as he does so, break it up. Now isn't the time for a brawl. And can I roll persuasion?
Yeah, you can roll persuasion.
Please.
No,
oh, never mind.
He says that fucking bastard tripped my friend. You know, he tripped my friend, that fucking elf bastard. And he says, I'm gonna fucking kill him. You can try and intimidate him, I guess.
I know, I'm just trying to think of what to say. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but Valashul turns and stares menacingly.
His eyes go bright.
Fuck!
And, he's too drunk to care. He's just like, You can fuck off as well. As he fucking
Alright.
he sort of kind of hits you. He hits you weakly in the face.
I've got my helmet on. I eat like a Mandalorian. I keep my helmet on.
So he sort of kind of hurts his hand.
Oh dear. Can I headbutt him afterwards?
Yeah, you can headbutt him if you want.
Let's drop a nut on him. Let's go.
Oh,
So you sort of like he weakly hits you, and you sort of turn around and you let out a sort of wry grin to Tharavel as you turn around and you lay your nut into this guy with your helmet on and lay him out as well.
I'll take you guys anywhere.
As you do so, Lance, were you coming in at this point in time, or are you sort of?
No, I was sat outside for a bit, so unless they're making a lot of noise, I may not notice.
Okay.
Considering they already had some casual bar fights going on anyway.
So you, the two guys sort of, they're just on the ground, and one of the serving wenches says, "That's what they deserve, those little bastards. You know, the bloody sailors coming on here and causing trouble. They deserve that. Thank you."
Alicia looks at her all confused and says, "You're welcome."
It's like, and she says, "That's what you get for not seeing your son." And she kicks him in the balls as she sort of kind of walks off. Bloody
Sailors
lad.
aren't scary.
Shameless.
Sailors aren't scary. Sailors' wives are scary.
So you've got two sort of drunken sailors, unconscious, sort of beside your table. The barman sort of kind of, the guy sort of behind the bar comes over and says, "Don't mind these lads. They've been in port for too long, and they're up to too much mischief. All the trouble on the seas. It's not good for sailors. They need to be on a ship."
Put them in the longboat till they're sober.
I have a rope and put them behind the long boat and then tow them out back to the boat.
What?
What shall we do with the drunken sailor?
Oh, right, okay. Right. What do we do with the drunken? Okay.
That's the one. Put him in the longboat till he's sober.
Okay, very good. Okay, so for it's sort of a moment, I think Tharavel and Thomas sort of it harkens back to the first bar fight that you guys had. At the start of your adventure, and sort of nice memories of Augury, sort of a similar thing happening to Augury in the Babbling Bat, which sort of raises a smile, but sort of obviously brings back the sort of pain that she's still not there. What do you guys want to do next?
I come wandering in from the courtyard and walk in, see the mess on the floor and the two bodies, and look at them and just say, "Do we have to just put a damage deposit down when we turn up for you, or are we going to try not to get in trouble next time?"
Almost points at them on the floor and says, "Well, they started it."
Tharavel innocently shrugs his hands and then points at Val. Said, he did it.
Val,
Well,
I just go,
actually,
"You've got a little something on your helmet."
Valishal takes his helmet off and rubs whatever is off it on it off even.
I sigh and walk over and pick up both of them, drag them over to the bar and ask where they should be deposited.
As you're sort of like, you take them over to the bar, and the barman says, "Oh, stick them in the back room. I'll tell their deck sergeant to come and get them. hopefully there'll not be much more trouble having a beating like that. It's just that not many ships leaving here at the minute. Bad for business, you see.
Oh. What's
Well,
bad for business?
Well, lots of sailors wandering around getting pissed off because they
Oh,
haven't got anything to keep them busy.
Yeah.
So I drag them and sort of casually chuck them in there, in the middle of the floor and walk away.
As you do that, Tharaval, as you sort of kind of you're pointing at Val, who's sort of kind of looking at you, you feel sort of a warm, sort of kind of warmth coming from the necklace, and you see Augury standing behind Val, looking at the sort of Lance picking up the sailors, and you can see she sort of smiles, and sort of as if she's sort of kind of reminiscing.
Tharval, he puts his hand on his chest to sort of feel the warmth, and walks over to Val. He sort of looks him quite seriously dead in the eye, and then just smiles and taps him on the shoulder, with a bit of a snigger, whilst looking at Augury over his shoulder, just sort of, as you said, reminiscing of old bar fights and good times.
So she sort of disappears. You sort of kind of look up, and she's gone again. Yeah, okay. What's everybody else doing? What are we up to?
Thomas drains the rest of his glass, looks at the others and nods and says, "I think it's time I turned in."
Alashul nods his head and says, "I think I'll do the same."
Okay. So you all sort of, are you all making your way to your places of sleep, your bedrooms?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So you all make your way to bed. You have a long rest. Those of you who sort of, don't really sleep, do what you do. You go into sort of sentinel mode or whatever you do. And the next day, you come downstairs, and the two sort of sailors that were in that room are being sort of kind of shouted at by their sort of kind of deck sergeant, who is sort of, he's just giving them a bollocking for making a pest of themselves.
Tharaval approaches and says, "So is it the captain of the
Deck sergeant? So he's a deck sergeant.
deck sergeant?"
Yeah.
He steps over and says, "Sir, might I interject? The fault was not theirs. It was mine. I had a few too many drinks and was in an emotional state. And your friends or your crew members here meant no harm. They just merely caught myself and my friends at a bad time. Do not punish them."
Roll me persuasion. Yep. Okay, he says, "You two are lucky bastards. 2 lucky bastards. I'm sorry for any trouble they've caused, sir. It won't happen again. They're going to be confined to quarters until we can get out of this harbour. When that'll be, I don't know. But you 2 aren't getting into any more trouble.
I'm stood behind Darabon and I chuckle and say to him, from one man to another, can you honestly tell me they won't find a way to get into trouble?
He says, well, boys, are you going to get yourselves into any trouble? Or do I have to get Her Majesty's cat and nine tails out like last time? As they both sort of go, no, sir, we're as good as gold, me. The wife, I'm already in a lot of trouble with the wife. I don't want to get any more trouble. Don't worry, sir, we'll be fine. Promise. So they're sort of, starting to be taken out of the inn.
One second.
Anything else people are doing, or are you just sort of?
I don't know. Well, I mean, we've still got our ship, don't we?
Yeah. You've got your ship in Balon. On crew.
We're short on crew anyway.
On crew.
Yeah. I was thinking we could try and get some crew.
Yeah.
While we're here.
We'll keep them out of trouble.
And we need to get back as well, don't we?
Yeah, so we need to hire an actual boat.
So we might have an opportunity here.
Bunch of board sailors, give them something to do.
Yeah.
It's obviously a boat. He just said, as soon as we can get out of this harbour.
Yeah, we could hire them.
Sir, as a gesture of goodwill, when we could we possibly take a ride on your ship to or where is it we actually left from? Was it Balon or?
Yeah.
Or so to Balon. Yeah, sorry. To Taunt. We are heading in that direction.
He's like, I'll need to ask the captain. He's a bit unsure at the minute. It's quite dangerous out in those waters. Many ships are getting lost to pirates. All kinds of strange things going on. You might need to talk to him.
I can assure you that we can provide assistance and protection whilst on your ship.
Okay. He says, all right, you might as well come with me, talk to the captain.
Arval nods to the other two.
Okay.
And smiles. Carries on.
So you sort of follow the deck sergeant and the two sort of cowed sailors off, and you go to the port. One of the sort of, there's like a lodging house there, and you sort of, there's a couple of sailors standing outside the front door. The deck sergeant sort of gets a salute as he sort of enters, and there's what you assume is the captain sort of kind of sitting there to his breakfast.
Tharaval steps forward and says, begging your pardon, sir, and I don't mean to interrupt while you eat. But we were hoping we could seek passage on your ship in return for assistance and reinforcement on the treacherous waters.
He's sort of, drinking some coffee and eating some sort of eggs and bacon, And he sort of kind of looks at you and he says, "That's dangerous out there. Well, it'll cost you. Not sure if I really fancy leaving currently at this moment in time. My boys and me, we've seen a bit too much on those open waters recently. So how much are you offering?"
Darable turns to the rest of the group. And turns back and says, I wasn't actually offering money, but I was offering service. As I said, we're providing protection, and I promise you we can deliver this.
You see what you don't understand is, my name port isn't, I'm a merchant, you see. I can bring stuff to Taunt, but as soon as you get off there, I've got no protection. So unless you want to stay on this ship, then it doesn't really help me much, does it?
I smile, step forward, and say, "How long have you been stuck here, Captain?"
Oh, it's going on a couple of weeks now. Eh? Bad for business. These two always getting in trouble. Isn't that right? And he sort of looks at the two sort of kind of sailors who look down at the ground.
Smile and said, "So obviously this is bleeding your purse, because you still have to pay for your crew, for feeding them, for bailing them out. What we're suggesting is a way to get you out of this port somewhere else, to move some merchandise to make a bit of a profit, and then to consider your options from there."
Roll me persuasion. He's, I'll say obviously advantage because there's other people there. He's not overly persuaded, to be fair. He's like, we'd say, gold does a lot of talking, you see. I am a businessman after all. Adventurers like yourselves, gotta have a bit of gold about you, something to sort of lubricate the cogs of commerce, if you will.
I turn my back to him and look to the others and indicate we should step off to one side.
Alishul steps off to the side.
Okay. Thomas steps with.
What was the name of the other captain, by the way? I forgot. What was the captain that was in Balon? What was his name?
I can't remember.
No, I can't.
Yeah.
Nope.
Doesn't matter. Okay. Yep.
So I quietly address the others and say, realistically, we have two issues here. We need to get somewhere, which is fine, and we are going to expect that to cost us some money. But the problem is, if we're not careful, when we show him we have some resources, he may try to double cross us. He doesn't strike me as the world's most, how should we put this, rules bound of merchants. More of a guidance or suggestion kind of guy. So
why don't we just ask him what his standard fare is and see what he gives us?
And negotiate from there.
Yeah.
We'll have to haggle downwards, I suspect. But whatever else we do, we need to make sure he isn't aware of that large quantity of platinum we brought with us back from the village. Because that's kind of like asking a drunkard not to lock themselves in the wine cellar.
If we how's what we have with Augury? Perhaps they wouldn't go near it anyway. Out of respect for the dead, Valishul says hopefully.
We do need to start somewhere. There will be other ships stuck here as well for the same reason. So, if worst comes to worst, we can move along. But
How about we offer a small amount now and more on arrival?
the problem there is we will have to be careful about ourselves, because he will then be looking at ways to get hold of the rest before arrival, and probably to see if we might have an accident somewhere. After all, there are pirates in these waters.
If we tell him that we can get him the rest on arrival,
it's waiting for us in Tom.
It's waiting for us, so he doesn't actually believe that it's on us.
Or our employer
where
is
he can, we can lead him to believe that we will get the money from somebody when we arrive, but when we arrive we can give them the money, which sort of puts aside that he might think that we actually have money on us.
Okay. Okay. So is that all decided about your?
How much is our first offer?
I think we're gonna ask and see what he gives us first.
Yeah, and then make a counter offer.
Yeah.
Okay. He says, he sort of kind of looks at you and he's like, wait, let me have a think about this. You're trying to get me and my crew, to get you to Taunt. Now, danger money, pensions for anybody who could be lost. I'd say 100 gold. I'll do it.
I start laughing, which, as a Warforged, obviously is a bit of an odd and bizarre grating rumbling noise that starts deep in my chest. And I put my hands on the table and lean forward and say, "It's not often you find a successful merchant captain that sidelines as a comedian."
Okay. He sort of kind of sits back and sort of leans back and sort of eats a bit of his bacon and says, "All right, 75, and that's my last offer."
So Thomas looks up and says, "Why would we negotiate pensions in advance? Surely that would be something to discuss if and when the time comes."
Gold is nothing if you're not alive to spend it.
I know, that's right, boy. I don't want to be leaving this, and I want to be spending my gold, not let alone be at the bottom of the bloody ocean. That's why it's costing you.
I look down and he's got a knife and a fork by his plate.
Yep.
And I pick up the knife and I examine it and look at him, which possibly generates a little bit of worry. And then I turn it sharp point down and I slam it into the table. That could have gone better.
Yeah, you sort of kind of do the knife's blunt. It's like one of those sort of like really crap knives, and it sort of doesn't really do very much. And he sort of kind of looks at you strangely. And he's just like, 75 gold's my last offer, boys. Otherwise, you're interrupting my breakfast. I'll bid you adieu.
Uh, 75 deal, 25 gold now, and the rest you'll get on arrival. We don't.
Roll your persuasion.
Oh, that's not good.
So it's,
Well, we're all here. Advantage.
I'll meet you in the middle. 35 now, and 35 when they get there. Or is it, what did I say? 75. So
Yeah.
75.
yeah,
35
30,
when we get there.
yeah, 40 when we get there.
I growl, and I take my chakram from around my wrist and start playing with it as I lean closer and say, "You seem to be under the impression we have more money with us than we do. We've told you we can pay you when we get there for the balance. So therefore, we were offering 25 now, 50 on arrival, and I'm asking you for a guarantee from you that we won't be having any accidents related to your crew along the way, because you could get short-handed in an awful hurry."
Roll me intimidation again.
Oh my god, I suck at intimidation all of a sudden.
He's like, he sort of kind of looks at you and then sort of looks at the sailors surrounding him and says, "We've dealt with tougher men than you, Warforged. Don't come into my place and make threats. It's going to cost you more now. I want 50 now, and I want 25 when I get there. Take it or leave it. It's up to you. But threaten me again, and there'll be consequences."
I turn to look at the others and raise an eyebrow, and I nod towards the door.
Y'all leaving?
Yeah,
Initial
Thomas
plans
heads
to
out.
move.
Yep.
Okay. You sort of kind of walk out, and he sort of just piffs and sort of you hear him sort of kind of giving off to the other sailors and saying that, you know, next time they're going to he's going to throw them to the sharks or something like that. As you sort of kind of leave, they sort of kind of they follow you out and say, can we come with you? Can we come with you? You know, we're good sailors. Just like our drink a bit too much, you know. Won't be a problem. We can help you.
I stop, turn around, look at them, look back at the others, and raise an eyebrow. And nod slightly. Question is, what will the others say?
Valashun agrees with Lance and nods his head.
Okay.
Everyone nods and agrees. Yep.
Yep. Okay. He said, it's just like there's they basically tell you that there's you know, there's lots of captains, there's lots of, you know, ships that, you know, will probably give you passage for cheaper than that sort of miserable bastard in there, and that they'll sort of kind of help you find one.
I reach behind me to where my purse is stowed, and I pull out 10 silver pieces and flick 5 to each of them, and say, "You seem to be hired."
Oh, that's great. Oh, my missus is going to be well happy with that. Oh, brilliant. Right.
I stop.
Drink it.
Yeah, I stop, and I put with one finger on each hand. I poke them both in the breastbone and say, you'd better stay sober until we're done, because the first time you turn up drunk or screw up, if you're lucky, I'll just be chucking you into the harbour.
They both sort of kind of look at you and sort of look at each other and go, "Oh yeah. Don't you worry, we'll be fine. You know, it's all right. Best behavior, I promise."
Nice to hear. Try to keep it up, and we'll look after you.
What are we going to call these two chaps?
PJ and Duncan?
Yeah, okay. PJ and Duncan. Drunken Seal.
It seems appropriate, really, when they were ready to rumble.
Very good. So they sort of go off to sort of try and find you a ship up for passage. Are you going to try and recruit any more sailors or anything while you're here, or?
I think we probably should. We've only got 2.
Yeah.
I would suggest we find the ride first, and then we use our new employees to help us find some more people that are trustworthy.
How many would we need?
Depend on the ship, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I
It's
can't
quite a
remember the
large
size.
sort of ship. You'd need maybe a couple of hundred for the ship that you have.
And we would then need to pay passage for them to get them back.
Hmm.
So we should maybe look at picking up a few good people, if we can, and trustworthy people to form a nucleus of a crew. But I don't think we can afford to ship an entire crew with us at the moment without it getting horrendously expensive. And we still have bills to pay at the other end, remember?
Life. D&D life. Hashtag D&D life. Cool. Do you want to leave it there?
Yeah, I think so.
Time is it?
Yeah.
11.
Just gone 11.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun. Cool. All right, we'll leave it there. We'll sort of, we'll basically, you'll get across. We'll sort of on the Discord. You can do some bits and pieces about sort of if you find anybody else, that sort of help. And then as of next week, we should hopefully be back in Ballon, ready to try and deal with the Kibarath situation. So yeah. For tonight, I've been MacGeary. Thanks to everybody who's been watching. It's much appreciated. It was good to see some people watching us live. For tonight, with me has been Michael Tharaval.
Everyone.
Wes is Valshul Nostius.
No, everyone.
Dave is Thomas Moonstar.
That's what we did with the Drunken Sailor.
And Mark is Lance.
What can I say? Try not to trip.
Night all. Bye.